Hello, 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 I'm Branch Miner 1, you can call me Branch, and today I'm going to be talking about How to Become Ordinary Season 2, Episode 9. I think that's the number of the episode. Crunchyroll kind of numbers them as if they're all part of the same season, so it's kind of hard to distinguish the actual number of this second season's episode. But anyways, enough about that. This episode is really good, I will say. I will say that this second mystery is even better than the first. This second season really has ramped up the mystery aspect of this show in a way that the first season just kind of didn't. The first season, the mystery was kind of a set dressing, where the real point of the show was Koboto and Osanai's relationship, whereas this season is mostly the mysteries, with the relationship stuff happening in the background. But I really like how they present this particular mystery because we are deprived of basically 2/3 of all of our information. First, obviously, being that Osanai is investigating while Koboto is stuck inside of the hospital. So we do not see anything that he does not see, and we only get updates via Osanai's little notes. And for some reason, they can't meet. Now, I don't remember. It's been a little while since I watched the last episode, to be honest. I don't think they mentioned not being able to meet, though I could be wrong. So it may have been something that Koboto somehow conveyed to her outside, like off screen, so we don't know why. Or I'm just forgetting something. If I'm just forgetting, then ignore all this. But secondly, is Koboto and Osanai are going off of a previous case, and we also do not know anything about the previous case, although it seems to be very similar to the current case. And that's how it's building off of each other. So as we learn more about the past case, we can make inferences about the current case. And the past case is very interesting because, I thought that, I don't even know their names, but the guy who got ran over and his buddy, or his underclassmen, were kind of fishy. Everyone was being kind of fishy. They were being way too defensive and also evasive when Koboto was questioning them. And they seemed just way too happy just to let everything go after almost being hit by a car. Like, I understand not wanting to pursue it or not having the energy to go through all that trouble. But if someone else is going to do it, why not let them do it and give them all the information? And that is the conclusion that Koboto and Osanai come to at the end of the episode after not being able to find out where the car went. I'm still talking about the past case, obviously. Even after Osanai pressured her not friend, somebody she knows at a convenience store to show them the security footage where the car, at the only place where the car, or I should say the only place before the car could have basically gotten, not lost is not the correct word, but where it could have escaped because it didn't double back on itself and there were no turning points. And when Koboto and Osanai explored the grass banks on either side of the road, they didn't find any tire marks. So I'd be really interested to know what happened with the car. To be honest, it may be something as simple as the car just stopped and then waited a while and then left. I don't see why they would when the police are coming, but that's the only logical explanation. If it didn't go off the road and it didn't pass the security cameras at within the 2-hour time span that of the accident, then it must have just stopped somewhere and then continued on after that. So it may still be on the cameras just later. Anyways, or sooner if they use some kind of strange trick to get there quicker. I don't know. I have too much Detective Conan on my brain, so there's going to be I'm expecting some super intricate trick for the criminal to be able to get away, where it's probably something super simple. But obviously the main point of all this, and the main conclusion that I've alluded to before, is that the guy who got run over is not being trustworthy, and nobody in this case is trustworthy, which means that the driver of the vehicle is probably somebody that they know, that they want to protect, or there's some reason why they don't want the case being investigated further for reasons other than catching the culprit or protecting the culprit. And the fact that the victim was walking with somebody and no one has mentioned that person is probably the key to everything. But that's all the technicalities out of the way. That's all the mystery stuff, and that's stuff that I can speculate on forever, and I'm not going to. But the biggest and probably most intriguing part of the episode, like I said, I didn't say, but I alluded to earlier, is the atmosphere. Because Koboto being stuck inside the hospital bed when he is usually the one who is active and investigating and trying to solve things, makes for a really interesting dynamic for this mystery, because we as the viewer are stuck with him, so we're basically running half blind. And it really adds to the mysterious nature, especially when Koboto begins to get antsy and he's making all these observations about the people around him and he's solving mysteries that aren't even mysteries. And I'm starting to get confused as a viewer. Was it a Japanese joke, like something that makes more sense in Japanese when the doctor was scratched by a cat and Koboto asked if it was a two-legged cat? If he wasn't insinuating that it was not a cat, then it's probably some play on words or a joke in Japanese that doesn't make sense because they didn't explain it. And I'll let it go for now. I keep these things in the back of my head, though, because you never know when this kind of stuff can be brought up again. But also, just the way that the doctor seemed to get more and more, I guess, on edge around Koboto. And I don't know if that's just Koboto's vision because he's getting more antsy and he's beginning to look at other people that he sees every day more, not suspiciously, but more, less happily, I guess you could say that. Or if the doctors are actually uncomfortable being around Koboto, who constantly makes inferences or observations about them. The nurses, like I said, I don't know how important all of this is, but the fact that they show him over and over again in a repeating motion, it's almost like a Silent Hill-esque loop where the same thing happens again and again with little changes. And the people in it begin to change slightly, but then you wonder, are they actually changing, or is it just my perspective that's changing? Like, if I saw these scenes out of order, would I think that there was a change in between them? Would I think that the nurse was getting more and more worried, or that the doctor was getting more and more distant? Or for some reason, the janitor missing Koboto's orange peel is a plot point. And for some reason, I don't know if that means that they're neglecting him so they don't come into the room that often, or if it's just a little thing to show how much Koboto is observing his surroundings, that he's beginning to fixate on these super inconsequential details. I don't know, but it really is interesting, and it makes for a very good episode. I will say that. Aside from that, not much else is going on. We got to see how Koboto and Osanai met in the past, but I mean, it's nothing too crazy. It's just they just kind of clicked right away because they're the same, yet they're slightly opposite in exactly different ways that they just kind of fit together. So, I mean, not much more to say, It's basically how they are now. But I really am curious to see the conclusion of the past case, and for some reason why Koboto did not appreciate solving that case, why he was so traumatized is the wrong word, but why he was so saddened by the memory of the case, and why he wanted to apologize to the victim. It's like, again, all of these mysteries have been something super mundane, but the solving of it is the really exciting part because it makes you think of really big, grand answers when the actual answer is very small. But I guess we'll see where this case goes. Maybe they never solved it in the past and they solve it now in the future. I'm really looking forward to the next episode, and I think I will leave you there. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you next time. So long.